Whether it's the mythical animals of our time or the terrifying creatures from thousands of years ago, these beings were not just products of human imagination, they actually roamed this earth. Number 39. Fenrir. Mythology. A giant wolf named Fenrir is very famous. You might recognize a fictional version of Fenrir from the movie Thor Ragnarok. However, Fenrir isn't the only giant wolf found in myths. In the real world, about 10,000 years ago during the Ice Age, massive wolves known as dire wolves roamed the earth. These predators were 25% larger than modern wolves and far more powerful, making them formidable hunters. Dire wolves specialized in taking down the megafauna of their time. However, as the Ice Age came to an end, much of their prey disappeared, leading to their extinction. Meanwhile, their smaller cousins, gray wolves, managed to survive and continue to thrive today. Number 38. Four-tusked elephants. In Hindu mythology, four-tusked elephants are often mentioned with the deity Airavata riding one as his mouth. These mythical creatures also appear in the epic Ramayana. Surprisingly, creatures resembling these mythical elephants existed millions of years ago. Relatives of modern elephants, such as the Goas, roamed the earth about 2 to 3 million years ago. These ancient giants had four tusks, using their lower pair like shovels to feed on vegetation. During this time, early humans like Homo erectus were evolving. It's plausible that fossils of gameths discovered by early humans inspired the tales of four-tusked elephants in Hindu mythology. Number 37. Mapinguari in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. Tribal legends tell of a creature known as Mapinguari. Descriptions of this being include a single eye, a mouth on its stomach, and a fierce role as the jungle's protector. While many believe Mapinguari is purely mythical, history points to a potential origin. During the Ice Age, the Amazon was home to giant ground sloths, massive creatures as large as elephants. Their unique features might have inspired the myth of Mapinguari. Unfortunately, like many Ice Age giants, giant ground sloths went extinct around 11,000 years ago due to climate change and human hunting. Over time, tribal stories about these creatures may have transformed into the legend of mapping. Number 36. Griffin. Throughout history, humans have revered lions as the rulers of the land and eagles as the kings of the sky. Ancient people, upon discovering the fossils of ceratopsian dinosaurs, likely imagined a hybrid of these two majestic animals, giving rise to the mythical griffin. A real-world counterpart to this legendary creature existed in New Zealand just 700 years ago. Host's eagles were the largest eagles ever known, capable of preying on moa, flightless birds weighing up to 250 kilograms. These apex predators had no difficulty hunting moa given their size and strength. However, when the Maori people arrived in New Zealand around 1300 AD, they hunted moa to extinction, which ultimately led to the extinction of Host's eagles as well. Number 35. Kappa. If you've ever watched Doraemon, you might remember the Kappa, a creature from Japanese mythology. Kappa is described as a turtle-like monster that drags humans into water and eats them raw. Interestingly, prehistoric creatures resembling the Kappa once existed. Colin, the largest turtle species ever discovered, lived during the age of dinosaurs. These massive turtles could reach lengths of 15 feet and had powerful beaks capable of crushing tough shells. If our Kalin were alive today, its appearance and behavior could easily inspire legends like that of the Kappa. Number 34. The Bloop. In 1997, a mysterious and powerful sound was detected in the Pacific Ocean. The sound, nicknamed the Blue, traveled over vast distances, sparking theories that it originated from a colossal sea creature. For a sound of such magnitude, the creature would have to be 100 times larger than a blue whale. This speculation gave rise to the mythical modern creature called the Bloop. However, scientists later revealed that the sound was caused by melting icebergs in the Antarctic Ocean. Despite this explanation, the idea of an undiscovered giant creature isn't far-fetched. Prehistoric oceans hosted enormous species like lead seekies, a fish that opened its 40,000 tooth-filled mouth, wide enough to resemble the mythical blue. Number 33. Giant bovids. Bovids, including cattle, buffalo, and bison, hold a revered place in many cultures. Greek mythology features bovid-inspired monsters, while Native American and Hindu traditions honor these creatures as sacred. But did giant bovids exist in reality? Yes, During the Ice Age, a species called bison latipons roamed North America. This was the largest and heaviest bovid ever known, as big as an SUV with horns so wide that a car could fit between them. Bison laprins evolved from the steppe, bison whose remains are still found frozen in Siberian ice. Sadly, like many Ice Age giants, these majestic creatures went extinct due to human hunting and climate changes at the end of the Ice Age. Number 32. Unicorns. We hear about unicorns in fairy tales, but where did that idea come from? Thousands of years ago, people in the Indus Valley drew a one-horned animal on small stone stamps. Some believe they were just myths, but a real animal similar to them once existed. During the Ice Age, a massive beast called Elasmotherium roamed the land. It looked like a rhino, had a horn as tall as a person, and was one of the largest animals humans ever hunted. But climate change and modern humans led to its extinction. So, unicorns weren't just legends, we just hunted them to death. Number 31. Dwarves. Dwarves have been in myths for over 1,000 years. But what if they actually walked among us? About 50,000 years ago, a small human species called Homo floresiensis lived on an island in Indonesia. They were much shorter than us, so tiny people called them hobbits. Life was tough. They had to survive next to giant predators like Komodo dragons. But they weren't born small by accident. When bigger humans arrived 100,000 years ago, the island's isolation caused them to shrink over time, a survival trick called insular dwarfism. So dwarves weren't just characters from stories, we just never met them. Number 30. Yeti and Bigfoot. You've probably heard about a big hairy creature walking on two legs called the Yeti in the Himalayas and Bigfoot in North America. In 1951, climbers near Mount Everest found massive footprints in the snow. People thought they belonged to the Yeti, but in 2017, DNA tests showed the prints came from rare Himalayan bears. So, was the Yeti just a bear, or something else? In 1967, a video claimed to capture Bigfoot in the wild. Many called it fake. But in 2022, when experts re-examined the video in 4K, they noticed the suit didn't match anything made by humans. And here's where things get wild. 3.7 million years ago, a small creature called Australopithecus walked upright in Africa. They were only 4 feet tall and had small brains, but they walked like us and may have even eaten meat. Number 29. Loch's Monster. People in Scotland have claimed for centuries to see a huge mysterious creature in Loch Ness with a long neck and a dinosaur-like body. But despite sonar scans and underwater cameras, no one has found solid proof. Therefore, most scientists think the monster is a mix of hoaxes and mistaken sightings. But millions of years ago, something very similar did exist. The plesiosaurus. It wasn't a dinosaur, but it lived at the same time with flippers like paddles and a neck as long as a giraffe's. It ruled the oceans for 150 million years. Then, like the dinosaurs, it vanished in a mass extinction. Therefore, if Plesiosaurus went extinct so long ago, so how have people seen it in Loch Ness for over 1,500 years? The logical explanation is that someone found a plesiosaur fossil and mistook it for the Loch Ness monster. Number 28. Giant serpents. Giant snakes show up in stories across the world from Urangander, in Roman tales to Vasuki in Hindu myths. But these monsters weren't all make-believe, because scientists found fossils of Titanoboa, it's a snake as long as a city bus, in Vasuki indicus, which was even longer, nearly 50 feet. Titanoboa lived in South America's swamps and crushed prey with its body. Vasuki was found in India, which links it back to the ancient stories. Therefore, scientists named it after the legendary serpent. So these weren't just giant snakes and myths. They were real hunters, bigger and scarier than all the animals alive today. Number 27. Dragons. Dragons appear in legends everywhere. In Asia, they are often shown without wings and soaring through clouds to control the rain. Meanwhile, European dragons are winged and known for breathing fire. Some believe these tales began when people found huge bones and imagined dragons. But millions of years ago, something just as amazing ruled the skies. Quetzalcoatls. Its flying reptile stood as tall as a giraffe and had wings wider than a school bus. It didn't flap like a bird, though. Instead, it launched itself into the air and soared like a glider. Some scientists think it also hunted on land, using its long beak to snap up baby dinosaurs. So what happened to it? The same asteroid that killed the dinosaurs wiped it out too. But its legacy lives on in hawks and eagles, just smaller and less terrifying. Number 26. Cthulhu. Cthulhu is a creepy sea monster from a 1928 horror story said to haunt dreams from the depths of the ocean. But long before that tale, real sea monsters ruled the deep. One was Four-tusked, a massive squid-like creature that reached 40 feet long. It's 2 giraffes, laid end to end. It had a hard shell inside, which made it stronger and faster than modern squids. It hunted giant fish and even baby marine reptiles. But like many others, it disappeared when the asteroid hit 66 million years ago. Cthulhu might be a story, but Four-tusked was real. And here's something to think about. We've explored only 5% of the ocean, so if monsters like that existed before, what else is hiding in the dark? Number 25. Kraken. As far back as the 12th century, sailors and people living near the sea told scary stories about the Kraken, a giant sea monster that looked like a squid. They said it attacked ships and pulled them underwater. The story probably began in the waters around Norway, Iceland, and Greenland. It spoke of a huge creature with long arms that could grab whales or smash large ships. The Kraken didn't just attack. It pulled ships down and made a strong whirlpool that sank everything and everyone on board. Like many old stories, this one was probably made bigger and scarier over time. But the first report of someone seeing the Kraken goes back to the year 1180. At that time, sailors didn't know about giant squids. So when they saw something strange in the water, they thought it was a sea monster that ate people. What if the stories were true? 1853, something big washed up on a beach in Denmark. It was a huge sea animal. The first time something like that had been seen up close, and it looked a lot like the Kraken from the old stories. Since then, scientists have asked how many kinds of giant squid exist and how big they can get. But can any of them reach the size people talked about in the past? Think about this. Animals like the megalodon and nothosaurus were real, and the biggest squid found so far was 43 feet long, about 13 meters. So many believe a squid that big could be real, but that's not all. In 2011, scientists found bones from very old sea reptiles. The bones were placed in a strange way. Some scientists said only a huge octopus or kraken-like squid could have done it. One scientist, Professor Mark McMenon, has spent years trying to show that these giant squid were real. He looked at the bones of a sea reptile called a Shoesaurus, which lived 200 million years ago. The bones weren't spread out, that they were grouped together. He also saw marks that looked like they were made by squid suckers, and the neck looked broken, so he believed something big attacked it. The way the bones were placed is like how today's octopuses pull food to their homes. But this sea creature would have had to be over 30 meters long to kill and eat that big reptile. It's more than twice the size of any squid we've ever found. So, was the Kraken real? Maybe. The old stories from sailors might not be all made up. And the deep ocean, which we still don't fully understand, could have been, or maybe still is, home to a creature like the Kraken. Number 24. Werewolves. Stories of humans turning into wolves go back thousands of years, from the Epic of Gilgamesh to ancient Greek legends. But some of these weren't just stories. One of the most scary real-world cases was the Beast of Yverdon, a mysterious creature that frightened people in 18th century France. It attacked dozens of victims, but even big wolf hunts failed to stop the killings. So, people began to wonder, was it one giant wolf or something more? Believe it was just a very large predator, but others think it was something else entirely, something sick. Some scientists think the werewolf story might be based on real things. One cause could be a rare illness called hypertriasis, a sickness that makes hair grow too much but doesn't change how people act. Mixed with rabies, which can drive its host to bite and fear water, even holy water. Rabies hurts the brain and nerves, causing confusion, anger, and sometimes making people see things that aren't real. It grows in the spit, so it spreads easily through a bite. Sick animals often become violent and hard to predict, and they turn on people without warning.